Hello, this is wmpyr. In this video, basically I want to talk about a certain topic. I received this email that was asking me about basically something that I call partner drills. Okay, and they sent me a link, a video link to a world-class instructor. I saw the link and everything, and it showed me basically in this style, which was Kali, right? The instructor was demonstrating something that I call like tapi or hubad, or 1-for-1. This kind of partner drill, and to me, I put it in the same lines as like chi sao in Wing Chun, sticky hands, or push hands in Tai Chi. It's in that kind of partner drill that we're talking about here. So in this case, like more specific to Filipino martial arts, it would be something like my partner's coming at me with a knife, so I block it, I cut his arm, and then now I'm going to go for an attack to his body, all right? And then he's going to do the same thing. He's going to block it, cut me on the arm, and then he's going to feed me an attack. And then we repeat the exercise over and over. Now I block it, I cut his arm, now I feed him an attack, and we just keep going like that, all right? Before I get into like how to develop this or how to practice this and stuff like that, more details about partner drills, before I get into that, let me address the elephant in the room first, okay? I think there's a lot of people that train in boxing, kickboxing, MMA and stuff, and they see traditional martial arts people practicing this kind of stuff, and they say that's bull crap. And it's really sad because it's not bullcrap. This kind of exercise can be highly beneficial, and that's the key word, beneficial. A lot of times people like to talk about, well, does it work in a real fight? Does it work? Does it not work? It's not about does it work or not work. To me, that's the wrong way of thinking. That's the wrong mentality. Once again, it's about, can you make it beneficial for yourself? So if it's not, then it's on you. It's your incapability. You know what I mean? To say, can you teach me this and it better work on a street fight, to me that's once again a consumer mentality. And I don't believe in that, because I believe in hard work. But it's really not the problem of the technique or the style. The problem is with the instructor or the individuals, the practitioners, okay? And the problem is not necessarily the way they're practicing it, but it's the attitude, all right? What I see many times, like I go on YouTube and I'll see this kind of demonstration and stuff like that, it's a demonstration. The instructor is teaching it and showing it, and it is a drill. It is an exercise. It's not the real thing, but they act like it is. So they'll do this exercise, and then the student comes in with an attack, and the instructor does what I just talked about before. They block and they cut, and then they feed it to the student, and the student does block and cut, and it keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then at some point the instructor will change it and put the student in multiple different locks, cut the student multiple times, take the guy down, and just show how many other ways he could have killed the guy. And I feel like he's doing it in a way that his ego is massive, and it's very arrogant, and it's actually falsely giving the impression that this is what I could do in real life. If this is a real life situation, it's pretty much how it would go. And that's not true at all. Like I said, this is an exercise. So the only thing that I'm calling bullcrap about this is the instructor's attitude, or the practitioner's attitude, where they're acting like, I'm so bad. This is, in real life, I would shred people up. I could take people down. I could do whatever I want to them. This kind of attitude, this kind of arrogance, that's the bull crap. And the people watching this, they're probably somehow getting the feel. They're going, there's something not right about this. But instead, they attack the style, or they attack the techniques. And it's, like I said, it's not the style, it's not the technique, it's the arrogant behavior there. And it's the false, it's basically lying to people, saying that this is real stuff. And it's not, it's an exercise. To me, this is about as real as like doing push-ups, jump rope, though, going on a run, stuff like that, jumping jacks. Those are all things that can be very, very beneficial, but it's not the real thing. It's not real combat, and it doesn't mean that just because you could do those things well means that you're an awesome fighter, okay? Someone acting like they're a good fighter at this just because they can do this very well, to me, is like someone who could do push-ups, 100 push-ups nonstop. So they're like, see, I could do 100 push-ups, therefore I could kick your butt. And it's like, no, not necessarily. You know what I mean? Can the 100 push-ups help? Without a doubt, for sure. That means you're pretty freaking fit, and being fit helps in a fight. So, in that sense, it can be beneficial, but to say that immediately translates to your combat ability, that's not it. And to me, that's a lie. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of the way, okay, because I think people are misunderstanding. Now, another way to view this, one more thing that I want to say is, like, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, this is a very good example, I think. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, especially like military combatives, one of the drills that we do in commercial BJJ, but I've also seen it in military combatives, is like an exercise where my partner puts me in the guard, okay? I open up his legs, so I'm passing his guard. So I break open the legs, I pass the guard, get into side mount. From there, my partner, maybe he puts in an underhook, and he goes belly down. So he's escaping the side mount. From there, he grabs both of my legs and pulls me down into like a double leg takedown from the knees. And then from there, he gets me in the mount. Now that I'm mounted from that position, I trap one of the arms, I do a bridge and roll, and now we're back in the guard, and we can start that all over again. Now, if you don't know BJJ, you don't know what I'm talking about, bear with me, okay? It's just a sequence of techniques, okay, that we're trading off positions and stuff, and it's just a sequence of it's a fixed pattern, and we're just going through that over and over and over to get some drills, okay, to get better, get more familiar with the blueprint of what can happen in a fight, and also with the techniques themselves, just to get some repetitions in. It's not real combat. That's not a real fight. No one in BJJ that practices that acts like that's a real fight. Even if you could do that real well, no one is like, yeah, if that was a real fight, I would tear you apart. No one acts that way. Everyone knows that that's different. If you want to actually get closer to a real fight, you spar. That's what you do. This is not sparring. This is a drill where you get repetitions. So when you're doing this kind of exercise in the Filipino martial arts, where you're feeding attacks back and forth, and you're flow drills or this kind of tapi or this kind of exercise, okay, partner drills. When you're doing this, it's the same thing as that sequence drill in BJJ, okay? It's not sparring, it's not real combat, it's just a good way to get familiar with the techniques, to get repetitions, to work with a live partner, okay? And to just get various kinds of practice like that. So from here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start changing it, and you're gonna start putting variations in there, all right? So anyway, once again, I just want to reiterate that it is not real fighting. People they confuse that, and they start going hard, and they think that, trapping hands is a competition, and they just really, really missing the point, okay? So anyway, let's put that aside, all right? And so let's say you go, okay, I understand that it is a drill, an exercise to develop some attributes that can be useful for fighting. Okay, I understand that. I understand that it's not fighting. I understand that it can help me in fighting. So, all right, you understand that. How do you do it? Okay, first of all, it is a partner drill, so you do need a partner. Okay, that being said, though, it's not something that I immediately start off my students in, because, well, I do start off my students in partner drills immediately, but before you do that, your main focus starting off first should be the angles of attack form. Okay, the solo training where you're practicing angles of attack, boom, boom, and you're getting repetitions of this. That's the first step. The second step is now you learn the defense to those attacks. Okay, so first you learn attacks, then you learn the defense, and now once you know the attacks and now you know the defense, you get a partner, and then you're going to do partner drills. Now one person is going to attack, the other person is going to defend. It's a fixed pattern. So let's say it's the 5-count drill, okay, the 5 angles of attack, which I have shown many times in my videos. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, okay, diagonal, diagonal, horizontal, horizontal, stab. Let's say it's that one, okay. So I'm going to do that attack to my partner. My partner's going to defend all of that, and then afterwards, my partner is now going to attack me, and I'm going to defend all that. And we're going to go back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so that's the first step to a partner drill. That is a partner drill. And then from there, it starts. We're going to make it more and more complicated, and we're going to change things here and there, and we're going to evolve it, all right? For example, one of the things that you can do is that same exercise that I just said, where I'm doing 5 attacks, my partner's defending, and now they're going to give me 5 attacks, and I'm defending. One of the things that we can do to change it is, let's say we're doing it at a park. Now, every time I attack, I'm going to step in big time. Big time. Like I'm rushing in. I'm very aggressive. Okay, so this kind of aggressive footwork is now going to really make my partner really work on their defensive footwork. Okay, and it's also going to help me work on pursuing and constantly attacking, closing the gap. Okay, so that's good practice. Okay, so that's one way that we can do a variation. The second variation, let's say, all right, is we're going to add circular footwork. Okay, so the same thing, 5 attacks, 5 defense, and now we switch. He's going to do 5 attacks to me. I'm going to defend. All right, so we go back and forth, but this time now we're going to be doing circular motion, circular footwork motion. So instead of going huge steps forward, huge steps back like that, now it's just going to be circular. Why? Because maybe you're in a confined space in a real life situation. In that case, you're going to be needing circular footwork. Okay, so you know it just depends. So now in this case, we're developing circular footwork. Okay, now let's say another variation that we can do is now I'm going to attack with 50% force. Okay, by me attacking with 50% force, it's going to help them understand, wow, now this is what it feels like when there's more power in there. So their blocks are going to have to become better, you know, so they get to feel that, you know, a little bit more, you know, oomph behind it, and it can change things, you know, just doing that. So, you know, that's another variation, and more different variations. Once again, key thing to keep in mind is that, notice I introduced one variation and then changed it, another variation, changed it, another variation, instead of putting all these variations at once, okay? Because if you change everything at once and you go, hey, I want this as realistic as possible. Let's add in any kind of footwork you want. Let's go in, forget 50%. Let's do 100% full power, you know, and forget the form. Let's just do free form, whatever. Then it turns into a sparring match, full contact sparring. That's what that's going to turn into eventually. So instead of doing that, we're keeping it as a drill, a very specific drill, and we're just changing like 1 or 2 elements, and that's it. All right, we understand that this is not real combat, and we're keeping it that way. Why? Why is this important? This is important because if you go full contact and if you train all the time, it's brutal. It's just brutal on the body, and you can't train like that all the time. If you've never done full contact, I highly recommend that you do, just so you know what it's like. I got to do that, you know, 5-10 years ago. I got to do MMA, BJJ, kickboxing, boxing. I got to do that stuff, you know what I mean? And I also got to do the traditional martial arts, and I was able to appreciate and enjoy both. And now that I'm, you know, basically almost 40 years old, it's just silly for me to be doing full contact training. There's other guys that I've seen that are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys that are in their 40s and 50s, and they're awesome, but they have all kinds of back injuries and stuff, and all kinds of surgeries and stuff like that. And you know, that's just not something that I want for myself. You know, to me, I don't want to be on that boat. So, you know, for me, it's very important to practice this kind of drill and keep it as a drill and not just go full contact and test myself. Because honestly, testing yourself, I mean, to a certain extent, you want to be able to know what you're capable on stuff. But after, you know, after some of that, you know, there's how much do you need to test yourself? You know what I mean? And after a certain while, I think it just turns into ego anyway. So that's why I feel that it's very important, especially for the older folks like myself, to keep it as a drill format. And I think it's still plenty beneficial as a drill. And if someone says that's bullcrap, that's not the real thing, it's like, yeah, it's not the real thing. Never claimed that it was, but it can be beneficial for the real thing. Keyword, beneficial. So thank you again. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.